Okay. Thank you all for being here this morning. So my name is Carrie Dillon. I'm the managing director of the International Textile Alliance, and we are the association that produces Interwoven Textile Fair by ITA. We recently rebranded, and one of the focuses of that rebrand was to provide some strong education during our show. And so I'm excited to be here to introduce our first presentation this morning, Cotton 101 with Marcy Gang. Marcy is the Executive Account Manager in the Global Supply Chain Marketing Division at Cotton Incorporated. In this role, Marcy works with brands, retailers, and manufacturers within the apparel and home textile market segments. Marcy joined Cotton Incorporated in 2006. She earned a Bachelor of Arts degree in textile design from SUNY Buffalo and an MBA in marketing from Benedictine University. So I will turn it over to Marcy. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome. So my name is Marcy Gang, as Carrie mentioned. And I'm happy to be with you all today and talk to you a little bit about cotton and do a little quick education about just the basics of cotton. So a little bit about who Cotton Incorporated is. We're a very unique company, probably unlike any other company that you've worked with in the past. We are a not-for-profit organization. We represent U.S. cotton growers and importers of cotton. So if your companies are importing cotton products into the United States, you are participating in the USDA's Cotton Research and Promotion Program. And we do not, sorry. Thank you. We don't charge for any of the resources that we provide to the industry. We don't sell anything. We are the research and promotion arm of the cotton industry. And we're experts on all things related to cotton. So any follow-up questions after this presentation, we have a booth outside the door here. So please feel free to stop by. One thing I do want to mention, because we are overseen by the USDA, we are part of the USDA's checkoff program. All of our research and claims in this presentation have been validated and approved by the USDA. So this is not just marketing fluff or, just things that we decide to say. These are all vetted and approved statements. We are headquartered in Cary, North Carolina, so it's only 2 hours away from here. And that's where our global research and marketing building is headquartered. And then we have an office in New York, Mexico City, Shanghai, Hong Kong, and Osaka. And then the orange dots on the screen are shared offices with our sister company, Cotton Council International. I do want to defer everybody to our B2B website. It's called CottonWorks. You can register at cottonworks.com. This is a tool for the industry, a free tool that we provide on all things related to cotton. So anything that I discuss, pretty much everything is available on CottonWorks. And we have lots of different resources on the site, things like our fabric innovations. So you can actually search for cotton fabrics on our site. This is our digital fabric library. And if you would like swatches of any of the fabrics that you see on the site, you can send me a message and I will send you physical swatches of these fabrics. So these are inspirational fabrics that Cotton Incorporated has developed to show you different ways that you could be using cotton. I did bring some examples of different cotton fabrics that are from our new release that are at our booth. So feel free to stop by. But then other things that we have is our trend forecasting service. We actually don't have a specific home trend forecast right now. Hopefully that's something that we will evolve to. But most of our work has been focused on the apparel industry. So we're slowly evolving to integrate more home trends. But we do have things like market and consumer information, sustainability information, technical education. This is probably the thing that we're most well known for. We offer 1- and 2-day classes all around the country. But if you can come to our facility in North Carolina, that is the best thing to do because everything is very hands-on. So we have, if you want to take a textile basics class, knitting basics, weaving basics, dyeing and finishing, denim, there's all different types of classes that we offer, and they're all free. And if you attend the classes in North Carolina, we also pay for your hotel, and we have a big group dinner. It's a really great opportunity. And then some other things that we have on the site of our technology innovation. So things like, our tough cotton technology for abrasion resistance is one example, water repellent finishes for cotton. This is where you can see all the information about the different technologies and resources. So why cotton? You guys have a lot of choices when it comes to what fiber you want to use. There's a lot of new fibers out there, but this is Cotton 101, talking about the basics, going back to basics about cotton. So sometimes I think people forget that cotton is completely natural. It's a plant. It's grown by Mother Nature. It takes, basic things like seed, rain, and earth. It actually is a perennial crop that we cultivate as an annual. So we force it to be an annual by not letting it grow into a tree. If we just let it grow, it would be a tree. Cotton has been cultivated and used to make fabrics for at least 7,000 years, and may have existed in Egypt as early as 12,000 BC. So this, fiber has been used by humans for millennia. So looking at the benefits of cotton, I kind of have this broken down into comfort and performance. And then sustainability. So, everybody knows about the breathability, the comfort, the softness, the familiarity of cotton, but we have some new research showing other things like cotton is hypoallergenic. It's now clinically proven to be hypoallergenic, which is important because this is a totally unregulated claim. Anybody could really say that anything is hypoallergenic. So to have that clinical research study was very important. It's naturally odor resistant. I'll go through some of these things in a little bit more detail. And the sustainability side, obviously cotton is natural, but some other things that are really interesting about cotton, it's actually net carbon negative. So it's holding more carbon than it takes to actually produce that pound of cotton. So because cotton, just like every other plant, is taking CO2 from the atmosphere and it holds it there until that cotton is biodegraded. So all of our cotton clothes, cotton textiles, sheets, upholstery that are made of cotton is continuing to hold CO2 out of the atmosphere, which is important because as we know, excess CO2 is what is increasing the rate of climate change. But cotton is biodegradable, compostable, microplastic free, circular, recyclable, and durable. So as I mentioned, cotton, circular fiber, it comes from the earth. It can be recycled into new fabrics, but really what we're encouraging companies to think about is how do you recycle old cotton clothes into completely new things that would replace non-renewable materials. So an example is our Blue Jeans Go Green program, where retailers collect old denim jeans from consumers. It's then recycled and made into natural fiber insulation, which replaces fiberglass, which is a non-renewable, non-biodegradable material. So we're also using cotton to replace plastics. I think that's another really interesting and growing area to consider. So I'm happy to share some other research that we have on the recycling side, but then cotton can be reused, and then ultimately, though, cotton will return to the earth where it helps contribute back to the soil. So looking at the disposal of old clothes and just in general textiles, the average American discards about 70 pounds of clothing per year, and only 10 pounds of that are donated. The remaining 60 pounds ends up in landfills, and 20 billion pounds of textile waste goes to US landfills each year. But I don't think this really even shows the entire scope of how many textiles we're actually discarding, because the US exports tons of pounds of old clothes and textiles to other countries. So this is just referring to the US landfills. So why is that important? Because cotton is biodegradable, and we do have a lot of research showing that. This particular study that we did, this is according to ASTM 6400, biodegradability testing and compost. And cotton does biodegrade relatively quickly because it's made of cellulose. It's 99.9% pure cellulose. And that is the organic compound that is the basis of all plant and vegetable fibers. Cotton will biodegrade in land and compost, provided that it has enough exposure to air, sunlight, microbes, and moisture. So that's key to composting. So if you just bury any item in compost or I'm sorry, in a landfill where it has no exposure to air, to moisture, to microbes, nothing will ever biodegrade. But we're looking specifically at things like industrial composting. So this is a result of that study. This is looking at a recycled polyester t-shirt and 100% cotton jersey t-shirt. And you can see after 12 weeks, the rate of biodegradation was much bigger. This is a picture of 2 pairs of underwear that we buried in a test plot in Arkansas. And the underwear on the left was 100% polyester. And the underwear on the right was 100% cotton. So you can see after, I think this was like 3 months, I believe. Yeah, all that's left is the synthetic waistband. Cotton is also biodegradable in water. So this is a really important topic right now because textiles are responsible for 35% of the microplastics found in our oceans. By 2050, scientists project that there will be more plastic than fish in the world's oceans. We're all consuming plastic. All of us eat about a credit card's worth of plastic every week. It's everywhere. It's all in our water and fish. And so it's a big problem. And microplastics are entering the water during washing, mostly. So during consumer wash phase. But cotton can be a solution to microplastic pollution. So looking at other types of fibers like polyester, cotton biodegrades up to 90% in just 40 days. And when you look at polyester, it basically remains unchanged. So there really is no rate of biodegradation. Polyester really it doesn't biodegrade. It just continues to get smaller and smaller and smaller in the water. So it never really leaves. And cotton is biodegradable in wastewater, freshwater, and saltwater. And even when treatments like softeners or water repellent finishes are applied, it still doesn't change the rate of biodegradation. It will biodegrade to the same or higher degree than oak leaves. So moving on just on a few basics about cotton production, and I'm going to be talking more about US, how the US grows cotton. The US is, 77 countries around the world grow cotton. 75% of the world's production comes from 5 countries. So China, India, US, Brazil, and Australia this is the most current as of Friday, because the order kind of changes depending on how much cotton is grown at any given time. But the US is the 3rd largest producer, but we are the largest exporter of cotton. So China is the biggest buyer of US cotton. So you may not know that your company is using US cotton, but it's pretty much guaranteed that it's somewhere in your product. So 17 states in the US grow cotton, the lower 17. This is a map of what that looks like. Texas is the biggest cotton growing state in the US. So here's a cotton calendar, just so you have an idea of kind of where it falls. It's not like we press a button and there's cotton just appears. It's not like, polyester being just produced, but so cotton typically is planted anywhere from mid-March until the middle of June, depending on the area. The conditions have to be right to plant. So it needs to be dry, needs to, the forecast has to look really good. The ground can't be too wet. And so the growth phase goes until about October. And then you can see, depending on the region, obviously in the Southwest, typically they can harvest a little bit earlier, but harvest goes from about late August until it can go as late as December. So planting, this is what planting looks like. I do want to mention that these machines that they use for cotton can only be used for cotton. They can't be used for any other crop. So it is a big investment on the part of the grower. And they have to be pretty committed to growing cotton. But cotton is rotated with several other crops, rotated with wheat, corn, soybeans, peanuts. So adequate soil moisture, the temperature has to be above 65 degrees, and then it needs to have a favorable 5-day forecast before they plant. So this is the blooming phase. The first flower appears at 60 days. So it starts out white. Early second day, kind of changing, and then by the late of the second day, it starts turning into like this really pretty pink color. And then from that flower, the boll develops. So the first mature boll starts around 85 days of the growth phase. And so inside that boll is the lint. So it's B-O-L-L, not B-O-W-L. Sometimes people get confused, but about 110 days, the first boll starts to open. And so this is just a visual graphic of kind of the whole cycle of what that looks like. It kind of drops off, and underneath that is the boll. And that's what it looks like in the plant. It's actually really, really pretty. And so this is the cotton picker. There's two different types of pickers. There's a stripper and a picker. Typically in Texas, they're really the only ones that use a stripper. So it takes the whole plant. It just strips everything, the leaves and everything all together. But it is more time consuming than to clean all of that out at the gin. So, but most of the US, they have pickers where it's just plucking the bolls off the plant and then leaves the stalks. And then they have to go back through later and sometimes they leave the stalks, but then sometimes they cut them down and then just leave them in the field just to biodegrade. So this is the round module. There's a couple of different ways that the pickers are, I guess, release the cotton and wrap it up. But this is the newest way. It's called the round module. I think each one weighs about, I don't know, maybe 1,200 to 1,500 pounds. Yeah. But you'll see on the right-hand side of that round module, there's a little tag, and that is an RFID chip. And so every round module that comes out of that field is traceable. They know where exactly it came from and which part of the field. So now it's ready to go to the gin. So they collect all of the round modules and put them, bring them to the gin. The bale wrap is taken off and starts the ginning process. So I'm sure you all remember from elementary school, Eli Whitney invented the cotton gin, and basically that technology has remained unchanged. It's basically the same technology, removing the seed from the lint. So for every pound of seed, for every pound of lint, there's 1.5 pounds of seed. So that seed is super valuable. Actually, it's more valuable than the lint. So the seed is crushed and made into different products. It's used in cattle feed. It's pressed and used for oil. It's used in dairy, like ice cream. It's used as a thickener. It's used in toothpaste. It's in our everyday life. And then the fiber is then separated and then it is baled. So this is a 480-pound block of cotton, and it is super tightly compressed. And every bale then gets a permanent bale ID number. It's called a PBI tag. And what that is that bale has a specific number, and a sample is collected at the gin. So the operator will take a sample from each side of the bale, take that PBI tag, roll it up, and then that is sent to the USDA's classing office. Every single bale of cotton that's produced in the US is traced and classed. So we know the fiber properties of every bale produced here in the US. Anybody can look up the bale numbers of each bale. If you have the number, you can see which gin that came out of. So I think that's really important, especially in, this time of traceability and scrutiny and understanding where our products come from. The US system of production and traceability is super transparent. And we can tell, really, we can go to the gin level, sometimes to the farm level, but it depends on how many farms feed into that gin. So every bale is sent to the USDA's classing office. The headquarters is in Memphis, but there are several classing offices around the country. And these are the fiber properties that they are looking for. So length, strength, color, trash content. So that refers to like burrs and leaves and stems and different trash that might be in the cotton. The cleaner the cotton is, the higher it's rated. Uniformity, micronair refers to the thickness of each individual fiber, the fineness, maturity, and then neps. So neps is like little immature balls of fiber that get tangled up. So that will affect your final fabric. So if you have really neppy cotton fabric, and you might not know until you dye it, and then you have all these immature cotton specks all over your fabric. So that's why all of these things are really important, and that's just how cotton is bought and sold globally. The cotton mills are looking for certain fiber properties when they purchase their cotton. And ultimately, it depends on what type of product the mills are making, right? So you can get away with maybe a lower quality cotton depending on the fabric that you're making. If you're making a fine dress shirt, you need a really high quality yarn. But if you're making socks or denim jeans, you may not need such a great quality. The cotton bales then go into a warehouse and they will stay there until the spinning mills or the merchants or whoever need that specific quality of cotton. So then they go in and pull those bales and they're shipped around the world. The picture on the right, that is a bale laydown at the spinning mill. So that bale wrap comes off. That's when the cotton loses its identity, because the way the cotton is spun, they take all those bales and just line them up together. And so we're not really sure where the cotton came from after that point. The cotton needs to be all mixed together to optimize the quality and for consistency. So just an important point, textile mills don't just buy tons or bales of cotton, they're buying cotton based on the fiber qualities that they need for the product that they're making. So benefits of cotton in upholstery. Cotton works really well in upholstery fabrics. It's really durable when engineered correctly. As far as the fabric construction and using the right type of quality of cotton fabrics can meet the 30,000 plus double rub abrasion cycles easily. So we have several fabrics in our archives and things that I have brought with me, and happy to share those with you if you guys are looking for some options and what might be good for upholstery or other products. But we do have some other technologies to enhance the durability of cotton. So things like our tough cotton technology. This is being widely used in the apparel space, not as much in home right now. So just want to let you all know that this is a technology that is available and works really, really well. This is an engineered finish to improve the wear and the durability of cotton fabrics. It can be applied to knits or wovens. There's two different options. We have a resin formula and a non-resin formula. So the resin would be for durable press finish. So it's a combination of durable press plus the abrasion resistance. So if you need wrinkle resistant cotton, you would pick the resin version. The non-resin version just provides the abrasion resistant properties for cotton. It doesn't change the hand of cotton fabric, so the hand remains the same. Okay. Just a couple other slides and some of the things that I referred to in the beginning of the presentation. So this is talking about the hypoallergenic properties of cotton. This is our clinical research study. This actually was done out of our non-wovens group, but I think this is really applicable to home textiles as well, because that also is really close to the body. So Our nonwovens team works on things like pads and wipes and baby products, tampons, things like that. So where the hypoallergenic properties are super important, but I also think for home, we're very close to the things in our home. So wanted to share this study with you. There were 200 participants in this study, 400 tests were conducted, and the participants had zero irritation response. So we know cotton has been recommended by dermatologists for many, many years, but to have this clinical research study showing that, I think is really important. Cotton actually is naturally odor resistant. So research shows polyester captures and retains more odor than cotton. So you may know of that already through your activewear. It tends to get stinky over time. I mean, polyester is made of oil. And so the oil on our skin attracts to the oil in the fabrics and forms very tight bonds with the fabric. But cotton does wash clean of odors. It's very similar to wool. Wool has very similar properties to cotton. And according to our research, odor on polyester is 62% more intense after washing than cotton. So think about, what do we use in our homes for, people are cooking, things like that. You want your fabrics to be able to wash clean so that you have a fresh and clean home. I don't know if anybody here is also producing sheets or anything like that, but wanted to share this with you. This is another study that we recently conducted. Cotton is shown to be the best fiber for sleeping, and it has to do with the microclimate of your skin next to the fabric. So there's a complex interaction of microclimates that happen between your skin and sleepwear, and then the sleepwear and your sheets. And so levels of humidity above the optimum range will cause you to wake up more often when you're sleeping, makes you really uncomfortable. And as we know, poor quality sleep has a direct impact on health, physical, and cognitive performance. But cotton does keep the humidity level and temperature at a more consistent level compared to synthetic fabrics, and that directly leads to deeper, more restful sleep. And I did provide all of the citations at the bottom, but happy to share if I think most of these are on our website on Cottonworks. This is me. If you guys have any follow-up questions, this is my email address. I'm happy to answer any questions that you guys might have. And I can take some questions now if you guys have any. Yes.
So I work for Lansing and we're doing tomorrow. But with that, we've done some research about the future of population growth. So the population is going to grow over the next 10 years significantly, and below the people.
Yeah.
So with the growth and exponential growth of cotton, growth in seed, land, etc., where do you see the growth of cotton participating in the fiber arena over the next 10 years? Is it exponential growth? Is it minor growth because GMO seeds already been explored? Are there any new technologies to really get better yields?
So a couple of things. Number one, food is classified as a food crop in the US. So it is food and fiber. And there actually has been new technology removing gossypol from the seed. And that is a chemical that naturally occurs in cotton that humans can't digest very well. So that scientists have recently, within the last, I would say 5 to 10 years, removed that chemical, the gossypol, from the seed. So this will be a food source for billions of people around the world. So that's really exciting. It tastes like sunflower seeds, I've been told. So high in protein. So that's a really exciting development. So, cotton seed is already used in food products now and will be a direct source of food in the future. The second part of your question is about population growth, and it will not be a problem to meet the fiber demands of current production. There's plenty of land. We do not need any more land than what cotton is already taking. And yes, I mean, scientists are constantly developing new varieties to improve yield. Our goal is always to grow more cotton without using any more land. So that is the challenge of scientists around the world. And so far, I mean, we are rising to the challenge. There's many, many industry groups and scientists globally working on this. And so, yeah, I hope that answered your question. And I do want to say, I know GMO gets a bad rap, but this is an unpopular opinion. But to me, it's probably the best thing that could happen because it is directly reducing pesticides and insecticides that have to be applied, fungicides. So, and to your point, we are growing more cotton because of it without using more land. So that is a win for everybody. So does anybody else have any other questions?
I'm just curious what you see as the biggest error in the category the largest
Natural
natural competitor.
competitor. To be honest with you, we don't really consider the other natural fibers to be competitors. I mean, wool or like, I mean, even hemp, I know gets a lot of press and the people are really excited about it, but the infrastructure right now is not there to process hemp in a major way, in a way that would replace cotton in any significant manner. So it's still so small compared to the amount of cotton grown. There is some, but it's mostly, I think mostly in Europe. Yeah. Any other questions?
I like your comment about hydraulic jacket. And I think we're understanding where you were going with that, is that the oils from the body, et cetera, will wash off cleanly versus build it up. And that's really different too, right?
Right. So most of our work has been looking at activewear and the interaction of the acids that our body releases in our sweat and how that it forms very tight covalent bonds with the petroleum in polyester. But because cotton is cellulose, it does not form those tight bonds. And so that's why it's able to wash clean. There's actually a expert on this subject, and she works at the University of Alberta, and she is the one that conducted all of this research for us. She is an expert on odor management and textiles. So it's actually really interesting. And the smell that we smell as far as body odors is actually the waste of bacteria that are eating our sweat. Kind of nasty, but.
Relative to this industry, what coatings are good for cotton? Because the growth of natural fibers and upholstery will be on the rise. We all want to be part of that. So, we talk about everybody wants performance. That's like cotton is a natural fiber, super absorbent, super soft, super comfortable, great attributes. But how do we improve the performance? Do you guys have something that stay away from, etc.?
We do. So we have a suite of different technologies. So yes, for things like activewear, where the absorbency may not be a great thing to have because when it's too absorbent, it takes longer to dry. So to help that situation, we have developed different technologies that reduce the overall absorbent capacity of cotton fabric, so it will dry faster. So we are, we've identified like what the challenges and problems are depending on what we're trying to achieve, and we have developed solutions for that. So we do have things like, to reduce the absorbency of cotton, the abrasion resistance, moisture management. Another technology that we have is stretch. How do we achieve stretch in cotton without any spandex or synthetics? So we do have a technology called natural stretch. It's 100% cotton stretch. So it makes a completely biodegradable fabric, because now if you were to compost a cotton spandex, denim jean or something, you just have all these little spandex fibers left. So, did you have a question?
Yeah, I was just curious. I noticed that there was a product
Mhm.
I'm just curious how cotton operates.
Yeah, that was a collaboration with our non-wovens team. So they work on untraditional markets like that, you know, with baby care and different things. So that's pulverized cotton. So that's where the absorbency is really good, where we want that absorbency there. They pulverize the cotton and then it was put into baby lotion. So we collaborated with Johnson & Johnson on that project. So sometimes companies come to us with ideas like that. And then other times we develop the technologies and then we approach the brands with that. But it actually is an award-winning scent. So if you go, it's called Cotton, I think Cotton Touch. Yeah, baby care one. It smells super good. Any other questions or anything? Okay, yeah.
I was just curious if you were going over the cotton popular. I'm just curious if there's any studies on those process.
Mhm.
Breaks down how
How it impacts soil.
So in talking to Jesse, this is subject that's come up quite a bit. Jesse is our VP of sustainability. They have tested our finishes. They tested some of the most common dyes that are used with cotton, and they're finding that some of the finishes may allow cotton to take a little bit longer to break down, but there is no soil impact. So there isn't anything that is leaching into the soil that is problematic, especially now that a lot of our chemistries have evolved to be far cleaner than they had been, 20, 30 years ago, when a lot of them were first initially developed. And we're constantly looking to improve the chemistry to put on the fabric so that we are being very respectful of the long-term.
And just to clarify too, none of the technologies that we offer have PFAS. Like that has, and that we phased that out like probably more than 5 years ago.
Just to add on that, it's really, you're talking to the fiber itself. You're not talking to after it's sold and spun. And as far as what chemistry is used to dye it, or what chemistry is used, where you would recommend Oatex is like.
Yeah, it's really both. So we've tested our technology, the tough cotton technology, storm cotton technology. We've tested that. We've tested a lot of the common industry dyes, waxes, things like that that are commonly put on finished goods. So we do approach it from a twofold perspective.
Any other comments, questions? We'll be around where, like I said, we have a table right outside the door here. Please feel free to stop by. Thank you all for coming. Appreciate it.